In the midst of the war in Ukraine, hundreds of miles above Earth, U.S. and Russian astronauts are still living side by side on the International Space Station. But tonight, as an American astronaut is poised to break the record for the most days in a row in space, his ride back with the Russians may now be in doubt. Russia's war is putting years of collaboration at risk, and the astronauts in the situation they did not ask for. Our Gio Benitez reports.
The International Space Station, an unrivaled laboratory in the sky for cutting-edge research.
It's a magical, fascinating environment for a scientist.
Often called a beacon for peaceful collaboration around the world and beyond.
When you're in space and you're, flying around the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour in a very hazardous environment, cooperation's the most important thing.
Now in the crosshairs of potentially earth-shattering geopolitical tensions, as 227 miles below the calm and quiet of space, Russia wages war in Ukraine, pitting it against the U.S. and its allies.
The Russia space program has cut ties with the West on almost every front. It's causing people to question, where are the Russians coming from, with their motivations in space?
For the past 24 years, the U.S. and Russia have worked together, building and maintaining the ISS. The first to step inside were Americans and Russians together in 1998.
It looks kind of ugly, but it tastes pretty good. This is liquid pepper.
And I was up there with 3 Russian cosmonauts. That's actually part of what makes it. We share a goal of exploring space. And that goal doesn't change whether we're on the Earth preparing or living up on the space station.
U.S. astronauts like Katie Coleman lost their ticket to space in 2011 when the shuttle program ended, and they began relying exclusively on the Russian Soyuz instead. Once aboard, Coleman says it was all about how to work and live with one another.
Space is hard and space is dangerous. And in my experience with our Russian partners, it means sitting down, having a meal together. It means talking about what's hard for you, what's hard for them, and how together we can get this accomplished together, and looking each other in the eye and realizing that we're all about the same thing.
A mission about cooperation and teamwork. For the Russian cosmonauts to even suit up for a spacewalk, they need the Americans to help. And it's not just life or death collaboration, it's also the mundane.
There's 2 main toilets on the space station, one on the Russian side and one on the U.S. side.
But if one were to break, you would have to use the one on the Russian side. So that's how much cooperation there has to be, because there's countless things that are like that on the space station, right?
Absolutely.
Even this week, Russian cosmonauts continued training at NASA's facility in Houston. NASA's reliance on Russian rockets ended in 2020 when SpaceX launched its Crew Dragon capsule. Talks were underway to allow the Russians on future SpaceX flights. And just 3 weeks from now, astronaut Mark Vande Hei is expected to end a record-breaking 355 days in space and return with 2 cosmonauts on a Russian spacecraft landing in Kazakhstan.
We're furthering exploration. We're getting people into space for longer and longer periods of time. And I'm looking forward to, as a human being, understanding how it feels to do something like this.
But unprecedented sanctions against Russia could put Vande Hei's return on hold.
We estimate that we'll cut off more than half of Russia's high-tech imports. It'll degrade their aerospace industry, including their space program.
We had 40 years of goodwill in space, and now in a matter of weeks it seems to be going up in smoke.
Dmitry Rogozin, head of Russia's space agency and close Putin ally, using Vande Hei's return flight as political leverage in a bizarre video posted on social media, threatening to leave the American behind and detach Russia's segment of the space station altogether. Former NASA astronaut Scott Kelly says he felt compelled to speak up.
This is my first ever, real engagement with someone in that kind of a negative way.
And it happens to be the head of the Russian space program.
Yeah, big deal, head of the Russian space program. I was just enraged that the Roscosmos said that, they were going to leave an American crew member behind. I never thought I would ever hear anything so outrageous.
The pair going to bat in an extraordinary war of words on Twitter. Rogozin tweeting out another video of technicians covering up the U.S. and Japanese flags on a Soyuz satellite rocket. Kelly responding in Russian to that tweet, writing, "Without those flags and the foreign exchange they bring in, your space program won't be worth a damn. Maybe you can find a job at McDonald's if McDonald's still exists in Russia." Rogozin firing back with a string of insults, calling the former astronaut a moron and dementia-ridden.
I just looked at it as an opportunity to kind of remind him that people are paying attention to his bluster and to push back on him a little bit and do it in a way that would get his attention.
NASA remains silent on Rogozin's threats to abandon Vande Hei. Russia already announced last year it would pull out of the space station as early as 2025.
Scott, if you were Mark Vande Hei right now, would you be concerned about returning on the Russian Soyuz to Kazakhstan?
If I was him, so really, if it was me, the way I would feel is that the people at the Russian Space Agency, I've known many of them for well over 2 decades. I trust them. I've literally trusted them with my life before. The events of the last few weeks have told us that, we need to prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Americans and Russians working together out of this world, setting an example for all of us about what could be back here on Earth and what's possible up in the cosmos as humanity continues to reach for the stars.
I just hope people realize and want to keep this partnership together, because it is, right now, really, I guess, one of the few things that unites all of humanity together. And I think it's one of the biggest successes of the International Space Station is the international aspect of it, giving us something to work on together that makes us friends and allows us to explore and learn new things.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.